hope of the gospel that you heard, which has been proclaimed in all of creation under heaven. Jesus says, Paul shows us about Jesus in this passage, that ultimately what it means to be a follower of Jesus is that we, though we struggle, though we suffer, though we make mistakes, we don't shift from the foundation that is Jesus. That foundation is the gospel, which is basically this. It's a word, biblical word. And it means that God has blessed you, and in blessing you, here's the blessing. You get Jesus. That's the blessing. You get Jesus. You as a believer get Jesus. Now we would use some really weird terminology if we're not careful. And we say things like, I found Jesus. No, he finds you. Or you'll say that, I got saved. No, you got milk. Jesus saves you. Anytime we become the active agent in salvation, we've walked away from the Bible. God saves. Jesus saves. Because we're in a mess, and we don't even know we need saving until he shows us that. I was at a theme park not too long ago. You've probably heard of it. It's called Six Flags. And while I'm at Six Flags, we're in line for this roller coaster called the Deja Vu. That means it's about to go backwards. I don't know a lot about French, but it's about to go backwards. We wait in line for 4 hours and 27 minutes to get in on the roller coaster. I'm with two friends, which means this. One of us is the odd man out, and that was usually me. That means that you ride with someone you don't know. Who's been there? Just me? Awesome. The guy that I was assigned to ride with, I'm not sure where he had broken out of, if it was a local, federal, or state institution, but he broke out of somewhere. We get on the Deja Vu. They lock the Deja Vu down for us. When they lock it down, I look at the trained professional, otherwise known as a 13-year-old girl. And I say to her, is this thing on right? She said, I don't know, which is never cool. I turn my hat around backwards for aerodynamic purposes. The roller coaster takes off. And when it takes off, I mean it takes off. Loop-de-loop, twisty-twist, twirl-de-twirl. And we're up here. My cheeks are on the back row. And it's supposed to stop here and then do the entire thing backwards, and then you're back to the safe place. So it does the loop and the twist and the twirl, and it stops. And when it stops, we just hang there. And hang there. And hang there. So lava's dripping. Hanging there. Anytime. And we're stuck. My friend next to me's pulled out a file that he snuck in on the ride. We can't get off. I'm praying. They go to look for the guy who's in charge of the ride. I imagine that he was at a funnel cake stand. Eventually he shows up. And he pushes a button that I didn't know about. That I couldn't reach. That I couldn't access. That only he had a key to access. And when he pushes the button, it releases. And I slowly back down on the Deja Vu. Stopping midway. And then this guy, he comes and he meets us. He's got another key. It's like a locksmith or something. And he takes that key and he places it here. I did not even know there was a lock there. And when he turns it, it pops. And I'm free. And then he takes me by my hand. And he helps me walk down this rail, telling me to take careful steps because I didn't know what I was doing, and he did. And I walked down to freedom. Guys, when we consider what it means to know Jesus, you have to realize this, that we were so stuck in our situation we didn't realize it. And then in Jesus, God came down and he released us. And he meets us. And he opens a lock that we cannot open on our own. And then he says, walk with me, watch your steps, and be careful. Because the gospel is that Jesus saves. Salvation is in Jesus, who has authority over all things, so that he can call you to himself. So where are you at? Just being honest. Is your faith in Jesus? Is your hope in Jesus? Is everything that you are to be in God found in Jesus? Are we there? Because if it's not, then we're standing on shaky ground. And we can't do anything about it.
That's what Nick said beforehand. I think we're doing it.
Will we be people who trust that Christ has authority over all things? Meaning that he has authority over your life and the steps that you take. Or will we continue to play games? Because I want to be truthful. Showing up at this every summer and going to your Wednesday night and going to whatever thing your youth pastor takes you to. Rally, trip, mission trip, whatever. If all that you do is a bunch of